Hey, if you're working your ass off every single day, whether that's construction, whether that's nursing, whether that's teaching, whether that's accountancy, whether that's any service-based process in any capacity, whether it's the UK, America, Ireland, Canada, Europe, you're just finding it very, very hard to break through. You're finding the pinch on your wallet too much, and the work ethic that you have is just not giving you the life that you want. If that is you, then this video is exactly for you. My name is Bill Welch, and I went from a personal trainer in COVID to within 6 months, literally changing my life. I was working 40 hours a week as a personal trainer to closing 40,000 a month as a high ticket sales professional. And over the last number of years, I've been very, very fortunate enough to have coached and trained a tremendous amount of individual salespeople. 4,000, we're just up on that matter. And I did all that with zero sales experience when I actually started. Now, I get what you're probably saying, and what you're thinking is, Bill, I work tremendously hard. I'm struggling to pay the bills, and I've never sold anything in my life. How do I actually move from here? How do I actually start is probably the biggest question that you're going to ask. The most important thing for me is that's actually brilliant. Why is it brilliant? Because you haven't any bad habits. You haven't been poisoned by the bullshit of this industry. You haven't picked up any negative traits from piss poor sales trainers. But the reality is you have all of what you need, which is the work ethic, the resilience, and the competitive nature that you need to compete at the highest level in high ticket sales. You already know how to show up. You already know how to grind. You already know what it's going to take to actually be excellent at your job. And the most important thing from here is to be able to guide that into the correct places. The industry doesn't actually give a flying fuck about your degrees. It doesn't actually give a flying fuck about your background. It doesn't give a flying fuck about your family connections. What it actually cares about is, can you get deals done? Can you actually put the ball in the back of the net? Can you actually show up and actually deliver a result for your clients and business owners and all of that great stuff? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to become elite. I'm going to write out some stuff on my board, and I'm going to show you what it actually looks like to go out there and actually change your life. Now, by the end of this video, you'll know the exact steps that I would take if I was in your position to not only land my first role, not only to land my first paying client, not only to build a great commission, but also what it actually looks like in terms of every step-by-step process to actually go out there and achieve this on a daily basis. The beautiful thing with me is I'm Irish and I'm very upfront. I'm not here to blow shit up your asshole. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you what it takes. I'm not going to give you a get-rich-quick scheme. What I'm going to show you is to channel that work ethic, that resilience, that fortitude, that grit, that determination, and actually put it into a place where you're going to actually exchange it for cash dollar earnings for yourself, your family, and your future. So if you're ready to stop working hard for peanuts like I was back in the day, and you actually want to get paid your worth, you actually want to give your family a better life, you actually want to go and travel the world and experience life to the fullest, then let's go. So the first thing for me is, like, why does your work ethic make you perfect for sales? And when I talk about work ethic, I talk about people just like myself, people who show up every day to move an inch. So when I played high level sports, you had to turn up every single day just to get a chance to win. And sales is very much like that. So the people that I really look out for are people in military, police, fire services, in terms of nurses, doctors, accountants, high level sports people, high level instrument players. All of these people have a natural advantage over every single salesperson. And the reason being is that you have a tremendous amount of work ethic and you have a tremendous amount of resilience. Who I actually also look for too is construction workers and teachers, because you have a tremendous amount of patience, you have a tremendous amount of grit, and you want to grind it out, because if you grind it out, that means that your skills are going to be transferable. Your resilience, your consistency, your difficulty with dealing with difficult situations, whether that's something not working in work in a construction aspect, whether you're dealing with a difficult kid, whether you're dealing with difficult parents. All of those aspects of your work ethic and your resilience is exactly what you need to get going in sales. And I was very much like you. I was working really, really hard, getting underpaid, and just believing that my body was the only way that I was going to make money. And I come from Ireland. I didn't have a credit card till I was 26 years of age. To then live life on my terms at 30 was like a tremendous amount of growth and achievement and determination to be able to get there and actually to deliver on it. So the most important thing that I want you to understand is your hard work and your resilience and your fortitude and your determination is exactly the perfect sales story, because what it shows us and shows me is that you're willing to get after it. That's the first thing. Now, number two is I'm going to write down what you actually need to get started is very, very simple. There's only three real things that you need to get started. Number one, you need a tremendous amount of skill sets. Number two, you need an internet connection. Number three, you need a headpiece and a microphone. Yeah. So don't fall for the sophisticated setups of lights and cameras and actions and all of this great shit, and a MacBook and, you know, thousands of dollars worth of memory and all of this great stuff. What you actually need is very, very simple. You need an internet connection, you need a tremendous amount of skill sets, and you also need a microphone and a camera. That's it. That's all you actually need. So I don't want you to fall into the sophisticated setup. Yes, you got to show up clean. You got to show up in a professional manner. Yes, you got to show up, you know, with a willingness to actually work hard and a tremendous amount of, you know, confidence and certainty, conviction. But the most important thing that you need are those three setups. That's it. Now, there's a couple of different roles that you're going to be able to apply for, especially when you're a beginner. The first thing for us, it's obviously an outbound caller or an outbound dialer, which is basically high volume, low pressure. And the whole concept of that is to connect with a lead and to move them into a sales funnel. The second part of this would be a setter position, whether that's, you know, a phone or a DM setter, that's someone working in someone's DMs, which are direct messages, or that's somebody that's on the blower that's going out and calling leads or calling cold leads or X or Y and Z. The third thing that you will probably need to get started is a tremendous amount of volume, a tremendous amount of, you know, low ticket offers, which is going to allow you to cut your teeth. Now, what that will do is give you a tremendous amount of exposure. It will allow you to build on your experience, and it will allow you to get into the game without too much pressure to perform. The last thing you want to be doing is getting into a high stake game with a tremendous amount of pressure and not being able to perform, because that's going to damage your confidence and your conviction and your certainty. So that's really, really important. Now, when I started in sales, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. I started in sales coming out of COVID. A friend of mine called David Kingsbury has a fitness business, and he called me. He said, Bill, just had the second location open. Look, I know you've been, you know, doing your own business and stuff like that. Can you come and give me a hand in terms of the sales? And I said, hey, I may as well. I'm not doing anything else. I had a baby due in 6 weeks. So I was kind of looking for any way to make any amount of money, because the stress, the anxiety, the pressure was through the roof. In the first week, I sold 32 programs. What we were selling back then was push-ups, sit-ups, and jumping jacks, because there was no gyms open, there was no equipment, and it was like 32 degrees, if not 35 degrees, in London at that time when COVID was going on. I look back on that now, we had all of the objections, which are think about it, parent and money, fear, logistics. Then I had no gyms open, I'm losing my job, people are dying, you know, the fear mongering was going on in Sky News and everything else. And from there, I was like, I think we have something. Because I went to my partner at that time. She said, how did you get on? I said, I think we're in the game, but we've just been in the wrong car. And it was like basically someone opening up a garage, giving me the keys to a brand new red Ferrari, and I was gone. Over that next couple of months, I made enough money to kind of, you know, enjoy my little girl, enjoy the time with her, and enjoy that kind of like period in my life. I started then full time in January of 2021 with a company called Sales Sniper. And over that next period of time, I became the top closer there out of 150 reps. I ran and led a sales company by 7th level by Jeremy Minor. I was the top guy there for a number of months, and I won multiple awards and all of that great stuff. And that's how I started in this journey. I started off getting, you know, an opportunity at Christmas. At that Christmas, there was a couple of closers that were ahead of me, and I was doing some setting work and some outbound dialing at that time for Sales Sniper before I went full time in January of 2021. It was just leading into Christmas. This is my big break. In life, you get opportunities and you get chances, and you got to be ready to be able to take that chance. And I was very ready at that time. I was, you know, ready to go. I was willing and wanting, and the rest is history, as they say. And over the next couple of months, I went on and on and on and on, and made a tremendous amount of money to the point where I've created that financial freedom, which is really important in your life. And I want to give that to you. I want you to have that opportunity. Now, the fourth thing that you're going to have, and the fourth thing that you're going to understand, is like how to find and vet opportunities, which is really important. So when you're looking for legitimate offers, there's a couple of key things you want to be looking for. You want to be looking for, what does the problem solve? Does the problem solve a tremendous amount of issues that a person would have? If the answer is yes, that's a good opportunity. The second thing you're going to be looking at is a consistency of results. Show me the consistency of the results that are getting your prospects to their outcome, which is their goal, their North Star, and their desire. Third thing is, give me a look at the volume of offers, meaning like how many calls, what's the show up rate, what's the churn rate, what's the close rate, and all of that great stuff. The fourth thing you want to be looking at is the volume of the company. So what is the company making in terms of net and gross, which is really, really important. Who do I want to work with? Am I going to be associated with this man or woman? Do I want to have my name attached to this man or woman for the next period of time? Really, really important. So those are the 5 big steps that I would look for when it's being able to vet an opportunity and to be able to get on that. A couple of red flags that I would be looking for is get rich quick, done for you services, and anything that's basically saying, give me X and I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. The problem with those offers is that it masks over the inability of actual people taking ownership of their problem. So that's the second thing that I want you to understand is avoid scams and avoid, get rich quick, avoid done for you services. If you do, you'll give yourself the best opportunity. A couple of questions that I would be asking on the interviews are, number 1, what is the best attribute of the best worker you have here that allows you to help grow and scale this company? If I was to step into your company, what are the attributes and what would you need from me in order to help you grow your company? The third question I would ask is, if you were looking at the habits of the top 1% of people that you're seeing in the market, what would those be? What you're doing is you're future pacing the sales manager or the business owner into the idea of attributes, characteristics, personality traits that allows that person to grow, win, and scale. So really important, these are the questions you want to be asking. The last thing you want to be doing is what makes you feel that the people that you have may or may not be able to get you to where you want to go, that you need somebody else to help you. So all of these questions are really important, but you have to lean in on actually the goals and the aspirations of the business owner in order to kind of see where they want to get to. Avenues where I would look for: fitness, coaching, business coaching, scaling offers, whether that's marketing, entrepreneur services, coaching, mentorships, fitness offers. These are going to give you a tremendous amount of objections, which is going to allow you to learn and grow and scale. So those are the kind of places where I would be looking for. Now, a big thing also is, which is number 5, which is the interview process, okay, which is, really important. When you're interviewing, they don't actually want to see your resume. What they actually want to see is your skill sets. They actually want to see, can you actually put the ball in the back of the net? So that's really important when it comes to think about as part of Money for Your Logistics. You have to understand how to actually navigate that. What they will be looking for is they'll be role-playing scenarios with you. So they'll be role-playing, different contexts in terms of, like, if someone says X, what do you do? If someone does Y, what do you do? Which is really, really important. As I've just gone over, the questions you want to be asking is more about the business and more about like where they want to go and what they feel they would need in order to grow and scale to that point. Now, how you present yourself online, which is also really important too. I would get rid of all of the memes. I would get rid of all of the bullshit. I would get rid of all of the pictures of you drinking and in the pubs and in the clubs and all of that great stuff. I would sharpen it up and I would, get not fully professional photos, but photos that make you look like I want to do business with you. Photos that would make you look like I'm actually someone to be relied on. If you look at my social media, it's me speaking or it's me coaching or it's me training different people, which is really important. Now, I also have all other stuff there. You just have to scroll back. But the difference between me and you is I've actually made a shit ton of money. You've not. So in order for you to actually present yourself in the best capacity, you got to be able to stand out from other candidates. And in order to stand out from other candidates, you got to be able to do some due diligence on your own social media. You got to do some due diligence on what people look for. And you got to be able to present yourself in that capacity. Now, there is a big difference between being confident and cocky. Cocky people are, masking an insecurity. And that insecurity is you're not actually good enough. And you're not as good as you think you are. So big point for me is to be very confident. Okay, so I call them my 3 C's, confidence, certainty, and conviction. You have to have confidence, certainty, and conviction in order to portray that you are exactly what you need in order to get to where you want to go. Do not mistake confidence for cockiness. If you do, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Now, number 6 for me is actually your first 90-day game plan, which is really important. The first thing in the first week to 2 weeks, you're going to learn the offers and the scripts. You're going to learn what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why you're doing it. The second thing that you're going to do, which is month probably 2 to 4 in regards to weeks, you're going to focus on the activity and learning, not just the results. So activity is like a tremendous amount of volume. So calling, booking, training, chasing, up and down. You're working that pipeline up and down that process, which is going to be really, really important. The third thing that you want to be doing is you want to be applying your objection handling skills. So that's on role plays, coaching calls, determinations, and all of that great stuff. Think about it as part of Money for Your Logistics. You want to be able to understand all that. And then the whole context then is then putting it all together. The realistic expectations you want to be making is you want to be doing a tremendous amount of work. I've always banked to that 50 hours a week. That's 5 days of 10 hours a day. And the reason why is because in order to get to a level of income that you want, you're going to have to do a tremendous amount of activity. And in order to get a tremendous amount of skill sets, you need to have that activity level really, really high. And after a while, your skill sets will catch up with your activity. Now, if you put your activity and your skill sets together and you're really, really efficient and you're a top closer, and you're a top, person, your income is just going to sky high. Now, the problem that most people have is they rely on skill sets without actually, the work rate. And that's how you get caught. So what I would say to you is you got to get practicing. You got to build on your confidence, certainty, and conviction. You got to build, your work ethic. And once you match your work ethic and your skill sets catch up with your work ethic, that's when you're going to take off and you're going to create a tremendous amount of income for yourself and your family in your future. Number 8, which is really, really important, and that's the reality check of all of this. 90% of this income that's in the market, which is a high ticket closer, is going to 10% of the market. And what I mean by that is like 10% of the top people are making 90% of the income. And the reason being is very much like every other industry, the most talented people get the best opportunities, and the best opportunities only go to the most talented people. And the reason they go to them is because they know that they can produce and they can perform, which is the most important thing. So when I look at the P's, it's performance and it's production. Yeah. So performance is like, if I give you 10 leads, you're going to bring me back 4 clients, 4 sales, 4 this, 4 that. And the production is like, so if you don't have 10 leads every single day, how are you working to be able to fill up your own pipeline? How are you working to be able to build on your essence? How are you working to be able to, create a tremendous amount of value for me and my company? That's really, really important. I'm giving you some timestamps, and the reality check is it's going to take you 18 months minimum. It's going to take you 18 months. Number 1, it's going to take you 6 months to actually build an idea of what the fuck you're doing, which is building some elements of results. It's going to take you 6 months to actually build a reputation, which is 12 months of actually work. And it's going to take you another 6 months then to build your relationships, okay? So my 3 R's: results, reputation, and then relationships. Your results have to be built first, because in order for people to actually take notice of you, you have to show them something. Their reputation goes before you, okay? Which is like, hey, X and Y works for me. He's really, really talented, or she is X and Y and Z. And then that allows you to build your reputation, and then the relationship is built on the back end of all of that. So your 3 R's: results, reputation, relationships, which is really, really core. The learning curve that you're going to have then on top of that, just to kind of wrap this up, is it's going to take a tremendous amount of time and effort and commitment, which is really important. Most people actually quit before they succeed. Most people quit if they don't have instant results, which is why, as I said to you, 90% of the income goes to the top 10% of people who are willing and wanting and capable of keep going every single day. Now, the next step for you, which is the most important thing, is I actually want you to join my communities. I actually want to coach and train you. I actually want to give you a tremendous amount of quality and quantity of education. So we got a great Facebook community, which is called the Objection Box Community. Imagine that. I also have this channel where we coach, train, develop a tremendous amount to you guys for fuck all. And I also have an Instagram page, which is called Bill Welch Official. I want you to join all those. I want you to follow all those, because over the next period of months, I want to give you everything you need to actually be great at what you do. Now, if you are actually serious about this, I actually want you to book a call. I actually want you to reach out to me on social media in some capacity, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. And I want you to book a call, because I want to actually show you what it takes to actually go out there and win. We have our home program. It's for complete beginners. It shows you from A to Z of not only getting into this industry, but actually winning in this industry, and actually being able to interview in this industry, and actually get into a position where you make that income for yourself and your family in your future. The home program is a 12-month training development program that gives you everything you need, as I said, to go from A to Z and win and scale and build and grow and actually replace your income, get into this industry full time, and live life on your terms. I've been able to do it. I've been able to coach a tremendous amount of people to do it. All you got to do is go through my social media. It's there for you in black and white. The case studies, the results, the Facebook pages, Instagram stories, whatever you want, just follow along. It will just show you. The beauty of me is I never block out their names. Okay, so all of the wins, I want you to go out there and do due diligence if that's what you want to do. I want you to go out there and seek them out and ask the questions. I never block out their images, so you know exactly who I share and what I share about. So if you go through any of my social media, I never block a name and I never block a picture like all of these coaches. So I want you to really understand that, and that's you doing your due diligence, because your due diligence is going to keep you from losing money to scams, which is really important. Now, the last thing I want you to see, and the last thing I want you to do, your family, your loved ones, yourself, your 2.0 version, the person that actually goes out there and wins and scales and grows and builds and actually becomes the person, your self and your 2.0 version of you right now is worth 18 months to 24 months of hard work. The life you want, the goals you have, the aspirations, the traveling, the watches, the cars, the fulfillment, the safeties, the security, the life, the kids, your partner, being able to be there for those people and for yourself every single day for the rest of your life is worth 18 months to 24 months of hard graft. And if you do it right, and if you scale right, and if you learn everything you need to do, and you're humble and you're willing and you're wanting, I can change your life. But I can't change your life if you're not willing to change it first. So as I say to you, and this is the last thing I'm going to give you before I end this video, your family is worth 18 to 24 months of hard work. Your future is worth 18 to 24 months of hard work. Your 2.0 version of yourself is worth 18 to 24 months of hard work. My name is Bill Welch. I can't wait to help you get there. I can't wait to see where you get. I can't wait to see the results and the life that you're going to build in this industry. This industry is so fucking amazing, but you got to do it right, and you got to learn from the people that have actually changed industry and have actually given back a tremendous amount. My name is Bill Welch. As I said, thank you all very much. Love, respect, goodbye.